You know, it's probably the HDMI cord, man, that's on that TV. It keeps
Could
doing
be
that.
because it's not a high-speed enough cable.
I see that a lot in homes I go into when I'm doing work.
Whenever I was ordering, like, I ordered high-speed cables, I thought, and then I ended up getting, like, the 1.2 spec instead of, like, the 1.3 or whatever. And it's such a pain to dick to rig around. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to deal with it. I don't send 4K that often because they completely crap out when I try to send 4K to them.
Well, what about those VGA cords, man? Those high def ones? I mean, they're more expensive in a lot of situations.
We could, but then I got a multiplexer, so I have 4 ins and 4 outs. So I can send 4 HDMI signals into it and then send it out to any or all of the 4 TVs that I want.
Oh, okay.
So I could put that on every one of these TVs, or what I had there on every TV, or just that TV. It's all set up that way. I got a cable box fed into it. I got an Apple TV, 2 Google Chromecasts, so we can put whatever we want on wherever we want. It's pretty neat.
It is. I get to see a lot of stuff like this in my line of work, going to work every day.
It was fun building it.
I don't get to see this kind because I'm not in the business part yet. That's what I'm trying to, hopefully one day I'll get to move into.
Sure.
But you go into some homes. I've seen some actual home-built studios.
Before you say anything stupid or live?
Like I was saying anything stupid.
You know.
I'm glad that you told me we were live.
Yeah, I guess so.
I had something really stupid planned to say.
Oh, shit, I got to turn our recording back on.
What are you talking about?
You know, I guess I better share the link.
Yeah.
You know, the recording, like the actual podcast recording,
Oh, yeah.
the audio end of it.
I don't know. The YouTube just makes me forget about podcasts sometimes.
You're a YouTube star now, huh?
Oh, well, you know. What are you going to do?
Keep on keeping on.
Are we live?
We're live.
We are live for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready to I don't know. I got nothing. I was going to say, let's get ready to conspiracy.
Should have kept going with it. Let's see where it ended.
Would have been nowhere good.
Nowhere good?
It would have been nowhere good.
What is that guy's name? I can't
Michael
remember.
Buffer.
He was
His brother Bruce is the guy that does UFC still now.
Now, Bruce Buffer's the boxing one, right? Oh, Michael Buffer's the boxing.
and old wrestling.
Then old wrestling. And
WCW.
Bruce, yeah, and Bruce Buffer's the UFC guy.
He's the guy that says, what's Bruce Buffer say? It's time!
Yeah.
That's his big line. It's time.
Well, you know what's ironic about that? Do you know he does the voiceover in one of those 64 games, not the Tyson ones, but it's a boxing game, and at the end of it, the very last guy you fight is the devil.
Cool.
Irony.
Yeah. Video game nerd, man. Can't help it.
Oh, man, I got
You ever watch
so
the
many.
Angry Video Game Nerd on YouTube?
No, I haven't seen
It's this guy that goes back and plays all the old video games and just gets irate about how shitty some of them were. Like,
Oh, yeah?
like he played Raiders of the Lost Ark on Atari, and if you've ever played that game, or E.T. on Atari, just fucking games that it's just horrible. Fester's
Bomberman.
Quest. He went nuts on Fester's Quest because it's just...
Bomberman sucked.
Are you fucking kidding me? Bomberman is the best game ever.
I don't think so.
I gotta tell you something about it.
Space Invaders
Its
is way better.
legality is less than scrupulous. Let's just say there's emulators now on Xbox One.
Really?
So we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I liked Howard the Duck on the old computer with the big floppy disk that you put in the back, and then you had to turn the computer on afterwards.
Well, I don't remember Howard the Duck game, but that's pretty cool. I
was
do
a great
remember
movie.
I do remember the old computers where you had to do that.
Interesting fact, I believe he was the first Marvel Universe, cinematic universe superhero.
You're crazy.
I'm just saying.
They
Name
had
one before him.
They had Spider-Man TV shows, Thor.
Cinematic
Yeah, because then they do it.
Fucking Bruce. The Hulk had TV movies.
Wasn't there a 1970 something Captain America movie, like a really old one?
Yeah, I believe so.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because I know the Russian guy, doesn't he play in one of them that's later on in the 80s? The guy that was always the...
Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah, Dolph.
He played Punisher.
Oh, that's right.
Wait, didn't that was
No, he played
No,
Punisher.
the old one.
Oh, that was
with the fucking shirt and everything.
what was his name? The new
Frank Castle?
Punisher.
Oh, that's the real guy's name. Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane. That's
He
right.
was in,
Jane
Boogie
or
Nights.
Jane. He was.
Remember, he was Todd, the dude. There was the three of them that did the cocaine robbery. Marky Mark, John C. Reilly, and the other one was fucking.
I didn't know
Thomas
that.
Jane.
Never put that together.
Yeah. I got to do our YouTube thing. So
Did you ever see Wanderlust?
No, I'm not paying attention.
That's
for
a pretty good. Did you ever see Wanderlust?
Shut up.
Is that the one about Jim Morrison?
One about John Holmes.
Oh, John Holmes.
That's
yeah.
Winterland, isn't it?
Winterland. That is
Yeah.
Winterland. That's right. Winterland.
Wanderlust. That's a fucking.
No, it
Magic
ain't
the Gathering.
Winterland.
Yeah, it is because
No.
it's the Winterland murders.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Winterland.
That's what it was about.
Yeah, because he was involved in all that.
Oh, yeah.
He had information.
That was,
I don't think he ever gave it up, though, either, did he?
No, that was Val Kilmer.
Yeah, that's right. That's who he played. What's the
the
movie I'm
Iceman.
thinking of with Jim Morrison?
The Doors.
The Doors? Okay.
No, I don't know.
I would think you were correct there.
I was like, you had me. I was going along
What's this
with
guy's
it.
name? Roger Morneau?
Morneau.
Morneau, that's right.
Yeah, he's
Roger
French
Morneau.
Canadian.
Gotcha. I just want to make sure I credit the right people.
Wish I would have had a link for you guys. You guys could have posted up for the
that's
viewers
cool,
so they
dude.
could have checked the interview
cool.
out for themselves as well. I think they will really like it, especially if you have an interest in this.
Where's my show?
The sad thing is, one of the things that's in that, man, could you look this up for me, Eric, when you get a chance?
Yeah.
7-Day Adventist.
7-Day what?
Adventist. I've never really read much about these guys, and that's who Roger Morneau ends up becoming later on.
It looks like Morneau to me.
Morneau. I might be saying it wrong. I really could be.
Man, we'll figure that out in a minute.
7-Day Adventist.
Yeah, give me like a little description on it.
I sure will.
Thank you very much.
Let me get the wiki.
What does Roger Morneau do?
Paints my nose.
he was in the Navy during World War II.
Well, overall, what's his thing? I'm just trying to for my.
He was. He ended up becoming a writer. He did publish a few books. It was about
Satanism?
about 7-Day Adventists, and then stuff that had to do with what he came out of. That he talks about in the interview about his past history with Satanism, because he was a member of a cult of them in Montreal.
Gotcha.
Okay, so basically the Seventh-day Adventists are distinguished from regular Protestant Christian denominations by their observance of church on a Saturday.
Yep.
Wow, the seventh day in the, obviously in the Christian is
Well,
the Sabbath.
it would make sense because our Sunday holy day as a Christian and even Catholics actually falls on Constantine's. His pagan gods. He used to worship the sun god, and his holy day would have been the Sunday, the seventh day of the week, which we host. Because technically, I think the real first day of the week falls on a Monday, not a Sunday. Because Sunday would technically be the day that God rests.
Right, so that would make Saturday the day that the seventh day.
Yeah, the Sabbath.
Right on.
But that's going
on.
from their history on it.
Oh, this is the official side of the Seventh-day Advent World Church.
I've never read much about them. Even
Beliefs
with after
and practices. Here we go.
that interview I watched with Roger, I never really looked into it much. I don't know why. I really don't. Usually I do that. I'll look into something that I learned from like an interview or something and go check it out and see what it's all about, I just didn't do it with that. I don't know why.
Okay, so they're all along with the original sin, fall of mankind in the Garden of Eden, the virgin birth, the divinity of Christ, the belief in Satan as a rebellious creature being, God inspired the authors of the Bible. They're basically just the same as Christians.
Except it's Saturday that they faith.
Rejection of same-sex marriage, immortality.
Sorry.
No, there's no coughing.
I'll cough if I must.
They believe in Jesus' return. Okay, here we go. Practices. It takes a position. Strict pro-life.
Pro-life, eh?
No,
That's a good
wait,
thing,
no, wait.
in my opinion.
I don't think they believe in like abortions and things like
It says
that.
it takes a position between the strict pro-life and strict pro-choice alternatives. What the fuck does that mean?
Maybe they play the middle.
Oh, no, here you go. The church does not serve as a conscience for individuals. However, it should provide moral guidance. Abortions for reasons of birth control, gender selection, or convenience are not condoned by the church. Women at times, however, may face exceptional circumstances. Okay, they go by a case-to-case basis with abortions.
That's what I mean. They play the middle. They work that gray area, I guess.
Okay, so prior to 1946, if you were an adulterer, you were disfellowed. So that means, you were required to be disfellowshipped. That means...
Hey, Eric, did you check this out here? When you got the notes, I don't know if you got a chance to look it over. It's pretty cool, man. It's I was talking about earlier in the 1700s. They had where is my notes? Oh, thank you very much. It's a scandal.
We're recording too.
Okay.
It's a scandal in France, and it was called the Affairs of Poisons.
Really?
Yeah, what it was. All right, you got to remember this was a Catholic area, so back in them days, the church pretty much ran everything, and it kind of still does over there. The Vatican runs everything. Well, in Catholic religion, you remember Henry VIII? You know how he kept having them wives kept assassinated, and having them executed. Well, in the religion, you can't have a divorce. Only way you can have a divorce as a Catholic is your spouse has to die. So that's why he kept doing it. Well, that was kind of popular over there. Well, the Affair of Poisons was actually an incident where it had fortune tellers and alchemists along with a bunch of nobles. One of them being King Louis XIV's mistress. And what they were doing is they were buying poisons. They were poisoning people. I'm not really sure about what the women were doing with the poisons. Obviously, it wasn't, it was something bad. But they all got sold out by one fortune teller because they came down. Because over there, when you got caught doing something, they were allowed to torture you to get answers. So a lot of times people plead to a...
Like the American government.
Yeah, well, yeah, they plead to a guilty when they're really innocent. Because, how much torture can you really take,
Oh, I thought you had candies. Yeah.
And so there was a lot of nobles involved in it, and it went back to they were having
Damn
satanic
nobles.
rituals.
I
and
hate
stuff.
nobles. I hate the idea that your bloodline makes you better than somebody else.
Yeah, and that's what they did. And see, what they were doing is
Looking at you, fucking Queen of England.
So a lot of the men that were buying these poisons, they were obviously, a lot of them they were using to kill off either a rival or their wife. That way, by killing off the wife died of
Now
a
there's an
mysterious
idea.
death. They were able to remarry through the Catholic Church, and they wouldn't be dishonored.
Oh,
Because
okay.
the Catholic Church wouldn't let you remarry unless your spouse died. So even today, if you're Catholic and you're going to get married, man, they make you go through months and months of marriage stuff.
My buddy Daryl just did it. He had to do all kinds of like counseling, not counseling, but like.
It's a form of counseling.
But
much.
it was literally like you had to learn shit. They had to do. He had to do a confession. I mean, it was.
Oh, that's the worst. Man.
You know, I mean, honestly, he had to go through a lot of stuff, and then even at the wedding, it was honestly like. I don't want to say weird because I don't want to offend anybody. It was fucking weird because like he put his fucking hands on the guys' heads like this and was. I mean, it was gnarly as shit. Yeah, it was total practice. It was a total ritual.
You know what I kind of?
It was a total
ritual.
ritual.
I think about
that.
As weird as like satanic rituals are, so to speak, the Catholic rituals are just as crazy.
Oh, yeah.
In the other direction.
That's what I said.
I mean?
That's what I said. It's a total ritual, dude.
Well, confession. Do you know what confession's really designed for? It was actually designed in a way that if you go all the way back to king's times, you know, where that's who ruled the lands was kings, lords, and things like that. It was a way for the church, because you got to think Vatican came into huge power, and let's just say they are one of the superpowers of the world.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying shit.
And in the conspiracy theory, think about it this way. If you tell someone your most darkest, worst sins,
They're gonna use it against
they
you.
have leverage over you.
Exactly.
And even all the way up to the king had to give confession. And who did they tell? His
Priest, yeah.
Yep.
So the
His cardinal,
church
bishop,
always
whoever it was, yeah.
always had power. That kind of sounds like Scientology to me too, because there are a bunch of effers like that would like totally just delve into your lives and tap your phone just to get dirt on you, because if you ever want to leave Scientology, they can just bring that shit
They got
up.
you. You're hooked, man. And you know, Satanist groups do it too, because one of the things that even Christians do have right, and you read it in there, you know, a lot of the things, they use fear. Fear is a very strong, potent thing.
Fear's the best motivator.
And Roger, when we get into it, you'll find out what they tried to do to him as well for leaving the group. I mean,
Really?
Yeah, he had a $10,000 bounty on
Let's
his
save
head.
this. Let's save this for
Right.
whenever
This
we
is,
actually.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's go live then. Let's do
All
this.
right.
Record
All
on the podcast. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Shut your damn mouth. I gotta get the bean footage rewound.
Bean footage.
You ready?
I've been ready. I was born ready. I'm ready to butter
This
you
podcast was brought to you by lineupmedia.fm.
and bread and butter. I'm here to butter your bread.
I want to restart that because I had the volume down too much.
I like that intro, man.
too.
So good.
You're listening to Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal.
Something's not right, man. Something's not right. Something's bullshit here, and I don't believe it.
Honestly, this crazy shit could be completely possible.
Disclaimer, we reserve the right to be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. That's true. You think you know the whole story? Think again.
Now your hosts, Eric and Everett.
Welcome to Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal, a lineupmedia.fm production, and we are back for part 2 this week.
We are back.
We are back, and it is, as always, Eric and Everett, and we have our guest host this week, Mark. How you doing, Mark?
Pretty good. How's everyone else doing?
Oh, I'm
on,
doing
man?
great.
Hello, YouTubers.
YouTubers and podcasters. Don't forget
Podcasters. Hey, guys.
There are friends too.
Yes, they're our bread and butter, baby. Anyways, what are we talking about this week? Again, part 2 of
Satan and Satanism.
You got it. Thank you,
I
Mark.
love it.
Don't you ever say my goddamn line again.
Take the Lord's name in vain on a Satan episode? How dare you?
Evil's going, man.
That's what he would want.
It is a Sabbath too. I'm going.
Oh, man, it is.
Going for the.
It's the Sabbath, debate day, talk of evil.
Right, I forgot all about that. How fitting is it that we do a show about, you know, Satan and Satanism on the day that, you know, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are debating.
Yep.
Coincidence? I think not.
That's like Satan and Satan. You know,
Yeah.
they should be a reality show. Satan and Satan.
It's Beelzebub and Beelzeboss.
Yeah, Beelzebub and Beelzebub.
We're doomed whoever wins.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're a bunch of fuckers.
All right, well, let's hop in. Let's talk. You were telling us in the break about a guy named Roger Morneau.
Wait. Before we do that, Call-in
you're right,
show.
sorry.
We gotta hype up our call-in show.
We talked about it on the last episode.
We're gonna do a call-in show.
November the 6th, I believe it is. Let me double check. Yes, November the 6th, we're going to do an all call-in show. That means if you're ready and you want to talk to us, you got a topic, we don't care what. Make it freaky, make it cult, make it conspiracy, make it paranormal.
Make it just outlandish.
Make it hello, how are you? And
it could even be like, what did he say before? Like the gummy bears that he wanted to talk about? I mean, so I don't care.
Something like that, yeah.
So whatever.
Just get a hold of us on Facebook. Get a hold of us, email info@surrealtalkpodcast.com.
Keep your Sunday open on November 6th, and we'll be taking Skype calls, phone calls,
right.
messages.
Get to us earlier. The earlier the better to make sure you can get in. And,
anything you want to talk about.
Slots are filling up fast.
No, they're not.
Yeah, we've already got 13 people.
No, we don't.
Let me double check real quick. I'll do a double check
He's
right now.
fucking lying. There's no way.
Let's see. No.
Oh, I meant 0. Sorry, yeah.
No, nobody's emailed us yet. Of course, the show hasn't gone out. We only like 20 people are watching on YouTube. So.
Right. Okay, so anything y'all want to talk about,
Damn.
or if you ask us what we think about something, or your personal views, it doesn't matter. This is a call-in show, open forum, November 6th. Do it.
Do it to it.
Do it. All right. Sorry, didn't mean to break in there. Mark, what were you going to say?
Roger Morneau.
Well, actually, before we jump into him, I was thinking about let's do the talk about Nazi and
Nazis,
cult, because
eh?
that'll bleed right into Roger Morneau.
I'm not a big fan of the Nazis, so let's trash them.
Trash him.
Trash him.
Sounds good.
No, I don't. Let's be objective.
Objective.
All right. Well,
Assholes.
They had good mustaches.
I don't know how accurate this is. I've seen actually more than 2 different numbers, but I've seen some big numbers. Do you know Hitler supposedly, in one people's theory, spent about what would be considered about $10 billion year 2012, about that value on occult studies. Some people say it was more around 600
It's well known
million.
Hitler was deep into that shit.
Big time. But before he was doing it, there was another society. You have the Thule, and then you had the inner workings of the Thule, which was the Vril. Now, the Vril go way back before the Nazi Party started to form. There was actually a prediction at a seance that a man named Hitler would take power by seizing the spear of destiny.
Pretty direct. A man named Hitler.
They did. They stated it Hitler. I looked it up many different times, too, to see. He's like, come on, it can't be that.
Has it changed since the last time I saw it?
I don't think so.
The Spear of Destiny?
No, that's what I'm saying. You looked it up many times.
Yeah.
Has it changed? Nope. It still says Hitler.
I think what he means is he's opted out for many different sources for this information.
Yeah, I didn't believe in it, because, like, come on, how accurate is that? You're going to literally call him out by name, like, how many people walked Earth named Hitler? It's not like saying it was John.
I got a couple buddies. I mean, I'm not.
It's not a favorite name anymore, at least I don't think.
Yeah. Well, Adolf. I wonder how popular that is now.
Yeah.
I bet nobody names their kid Adolf.
That hasn't been the most popular name in quite a few years.
So I was kind of skeptic on it,
Sure.
But they supposedly in the 1920s in Munich, they said that there was a lot of children that disappeared, and it was believed that the Vril Society were using them for sacrifice.
What society was it?
Vril. V-R-I-L. Yeah, they were the inner working of the Thule Society.
You don't know about the Vril, man?
No, man. I
or
know
the
about
Thules?
Frills.
Really? I figured you would know about that of all people,
no,
man.
I sure didn't,
They were big into the black arts. Big into it.
Really?
Yeah, and they said that they think the hundreds of kids that disappeared during the 1920s was because of them. And that they were taking them there, sacrificing for their energies they used for summoning spirits. And that's how they came into contact with the one that supposedly represented himself as the Beast of Revelations, and said that a man named Hitler will seize the Spear of Destiny and lead the Aryan nation or Aryan race to glory.
Which it almost worked.
It almost worked, if you think about it. Because Hitler took power in, 1938?
It would have worked if it was for those pesky Americans and that damn invasion of Normandy. No.
Or Brad Pitt and the rest of the Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, no shit, right?
I hated that movie. I did not like it. I didn't like how they rewrote history.
No, right.
Since we're on the topic and it's the pop culture episode still, you guys seen Hellboy?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Have you not seen Hellboy?
I didn't watch Hellboy.
It's exactly basically what we're talking about. It was Hitler's occult sect trying to contact a demon or just make a portal into another dimension.
Yep.
And what fell out was a demon. It was Hellboy.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, and he becomes a superhero. That's a comic book.
Well, I mean, pop culture again. What about Captain America and Hydra?
Exactly.
Marvel
Hydra's
Universe.
perfect
What
example.
about Redface? What's his name?
The Red Skull.
Yeah, the Red Skull.
Indiana
He kind of
Jones.
looks like the
Oh,
devil.
Indiana Jones.
All the
especially.
Indiana Jones movies, except for
Except for
Temple of
Temple,
Doom.
yeah.
But the other ones, yeah, I mean, they're looking
Well,
for the Holy Grail.
and the one that shall
Ark
not be
Covenant.
named.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one.
It was all right. I mean,
I
the
liked
whole
it.
swinging from tree to tree on vines when your arms get tired.
The whole
after all.
hide from a fucking nuke inside of a lead fridge.
Yeah.
Okay, we get it. It wasn't very
The whole Shia
accurate,
LaBeouf.
but Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, you could have gotten rid of him. I was good with that.
I mean, at least it's another
Hey,
indie movie.
Wait. Blizz, this is exactly what I was going to say, and I didn't want to say it. He thought Queen Elizabeth took the kids. That's exactly what I was thinking, dude. Because she, reptilian, she murders the kids. Remember we talked about that on one of the other episodes? On the
Why aren't you
reptilian
the
elite?
honorary Anunnaki?
He's talking about Bloody Mary.
No,
or
he's
not
talking-
Bloody
No,
Mary,
he's a
but,
lizard. He's going that Queen Elizabeth is the lizard people, and she's eating them.
I'm
Well, I
I'll
was
take
trying to
this
think
one.
because wasn't there a queen that did that sacrifice because she used to think the blood would keep her young?
Yeah, that was
That's-
Bloody Mary. Yeah.
Bloody Mary. Okay.
I'll take this one. What Blizz is Powerpuff Girls and a guy called him. And never mind. But what he's talking about is the queen is allegedly a reptile, and in order for them to keep their human shape, they have to eat children in a very heightened sense of like turmoil, terror, fear, because
Like
it
how Freddy
releases
Krueger likes you scared,
because it releases some, I guess, a chemical adrenaline or something, and that chemical is what the reptilians thrive on to keep their skin suit. Like
They're Edgar suits.
yeah. their skin suit makes them not look like a reptile. It makes them look like a human
It's
again.
what makes their lizard.
So
magic
it doesn't
possible.
look weird when they want sugar water?
Yeah, right. No, but you know what I'm saying, like a shapeshifter. Shapeshifting, that's
No,
what
I
those are,
got
the
you.
reptilian shapeshifters. So like if they eat these kids and drink the blood with this, I guess it's adrenaline. I guess it's whatever comes out when there's like high turmoil or fear. They kill them right then, drink the blood. It makes their shapeshifting stay stable. You know what I'm
Reminds me
saying?
of
It's like you
Fear
see
and
that.
Loathing where you ate the adrenal gland. Get the adrenal.
Oh,
kernel.
yeah.
Oh, you took too much.
Well, it's like when they slaughter beef. You ever notice that they'll talk about it? They don't want to scare the animal when they do it
Yeah,
because
that
it does
releases that
something.
adrenaline into
Yeah.
the meat and it tastes bad.
Yeah, it makes them taste bad.
Really?
You didn't know about that?
Uh-uh.
Oh, they're careful about that. The way they don't want that adrenaline to get into the meat right when they kill them, because apparently that tastes bad.
They blindfold them before they do this
I
shot.
never seen that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but they'll hit them right in the back of the fucking skull. And like that No Country for Old Men that dude walked around
Yeah.
with.
What's that thing called?
I don't know. Fuck you up stick.
Yeah.
There's a name for it though. I can't remember what it is. There's a name for that.
Some sort of pneumatic poker. I don't know.
It's instant death when they do it, though. They say they don't feel nothing. Apparently, you don't taste in the meat, so.
So what do you got on Roger Morneau?
All right, now, Roger, he's a pretty interesting character, man. He
That
did
remains to be seen.
Well, he was pretty interesting. He's got a YouTube video out there of an interview. I think it was back in the early 80s or late 70s. It's one of them. And he talks about when he got out of the military, or the Navy, I'm sorry, after World War II, he fought.
The Navy's part of the military.
Well, yeah. He went back to his Canada. He was from Canada. He's a French Canadian. And
We won't hold that against him. I keep it right up to you, but I think it's funny. Fuck you.
oh no, go for it. And what was about it was he when he came home, he met this friend of his that was in the military with him. And you got to think when these guys fight in wars, they get a certain thing about them where excitement is a lot different than it is for a normal person.
Well, yeah. Whenever you've lived with bullets going past your head, it's kind of hard
Exactly.
to freak out when there's a car crash, a fender bender next to you.
Yeah, so it's like that whole Hellraiser theme, where they look for more excitement from things that you
Oh,
wouldn't
the
look
Cenobites.
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Adrenaline junkies.
when he came back home,
Pain is pleasure.
oh yeah, that's a good. The book was actually really good. If
I hadn't read it.
Yeah, it's nothing like the movie. It's a lot different.
Was it?
Yeah, but anyway, Roger, when he came back, he had a buddy said, "Hey, listen," he said, "it was good to see you. I got this thing I want to talk to you about." He goes, "How would you feel if you could talk to your dead mother?" And Roger, kind of a skeptic, laughed it off.
He's like, "You want me to punch you in the fucking dick?"
Well, he joked about
my
it,
dead mother?
and he probably didn't ask him right away. But when he seen him, he got to that point of the conversation where that ended up popping up. So what he ended up doing is he goaded him in because he called him a chicken. He didn't want to do it,
Right.
And so Roger's like, you know what, I'll do it. So they went on this seance. Well, apparently a lot of these seances back in them days, they were a recruitment ground for people, and it was by an elitist groups of Satanists, and they were the top tier. And what happened was he goes to this seance. He's already been spotted. They're already looking for him in a sense. And what they have is this jazz player that goes to him as well, and his wife. And he's a real popular, famous one in the area. He's kind of like a local celebrity.
Bleeding Gums Murphy.
I don't know.
No, he's a sax player.
Yeah.
I think he mentions the name. I just don't remember the name of it. If you watch the interview, he gets really into detail about it. And anyway, he's actually the one setting him up for this. So he talks him into basically going to this big mansion out in Montreal. And it's like a really big mansion. When he gets out there, he finds out that they worship spirits. And the whole time they're at this bar, they're getting drunk, they're talking about it. And he says, I'll send a vehicle for you. He said, you're going to go. He didn't really give him the option. you
Right.
know. He's like, you're going. So Wednesday come along, sure enough, limousine picks him up, takes him out to Montreal. They go in there, and it's actually a satanic group. And their beliefs, the elites, they are so high up on a tier in this, they don't talk about it. It's no, you don't get into the inner circles. They don't even pick and choose. They say it's the spirits. And they always talk about the master, which is Lucifer. And what the gifts he offers to is loyal people. they had a guy in there that was a doctor, and he told Roger, he goes, listen, I can do surgeries that no one else can do. He goes, I can do things that no one else can do because the spirits help me do it.
Really?
He probably drank that shit that Egg Chan had.
And what he would do is he would cut them open, and he said the spirits would literally stop the bleeding from the wounds. He said, so I'm able to operate in ways that others people can't.
That's pretty cool.
That is gnarly.
Yeah, and he talks about how this lawyer had his whole room, because later on they took him, as time went by to introduce him more and more into it, they took him to this room on the other side of the mansion past where they do the rituals and the summonings, and they have their worship and things like that. And when he takes them there, it's a whole room, and you can hear typewriters, the old school typewriters. But when you go in, there's like 10 typewriters, and no one's sitting there.
Oh, that's fucking
But
crazy.
they're going and they're moving. But here's the thing. He said what's really interesting about it is, you remember how the old typewriters, when they go and you get to the end and you had to hit it back?
Yeah.
Carriage return.
Yeah, he said, but when you look at them, he goes, they're moving from left to right. They stop and move from right to left, going back, typing backwards.
Wow, how's that?
Well, demons is what's doing it.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
gonna say
the
that's
spirits.
weird.
Demons talk backwards and write backwards. Everybody knows that.
they're supposed to be really highly
spin the
intelligent.
record
Yeah.
backwards,
So
like,
these guys,
gotcha.
these things are all doing the work for this lawyer and making them very successful. There's guys in there that only worked on the super rich's homes, and that's what they did. Your elites in Satanism, your true Satanist groups, they aren't your common street-looking thug guy walking around tattooed.
No.
They are your people, your lawyers, your judges, your
It's the
doctors.
same people that
People of power.
Any of your secret
yeah.
societies,
Yeah,
they're
you're
higher up.
elites. Yeah, I get you.
Yep, and there's no getting out of it once you're in it. And what it is, the spirits choose you. And they took him to this one room that was really magnificent looking. It was paintings, hundreds and hundreds of paintings, and they were each of the fallen angels. And there was one that was Lucifer that was huge. And he said, when you look at it, when you look at Lucifer, he's like, it's not a horrible or anything like that picture. He said, it's very intelligence. He said, you see power in his eyes. You see authority. You see, ages and ages of knowledge. And he goes, once you're in, you're in. And so that's what they're doing. Well, Roger, they asked him, he said, tonight's the night we're offering gifts. He said, your master wants you to pick any of your gifts you want. So Roger, he was not very lucky at betting on horses and dogs and stuff like that. So he asked him, he said, well, let me get...
I know a guy like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. And he goes, that's what he wants. He wants to be able to win a little bit of money. Back in the late 40s, after all this happened after World War II.
That's right after the Depression. And
yeah, so he goes to these tracks. But back in them days, there wasn't really a lot of legal betting. They were all bookies.
Right.
So he's going to these bookies. But he said before he'd go, he'd fall into a trance. And he don't know if it was a sleep or just a trance. But he would see 3 races winning. And they were long shots, like 21 to none.
Really? Yeah, so big money payouts.
Big losers, just losers that you would never think would win. He starts winning big money. So time goes by, and these bookies are getting mad. And one of them actually pulls him aside and says, hey, listen, you got to go talk to my boss in the back. And he goes, and there's a big guy smoking a cigar, the classic look.
Mob boss gang guy.
The classic look, And the guy tells him, he goes, how you winning all this money, basically? You come in here and you're always winning this money. How
the fuck you know this, right?
Yeah, how you know this? Because these are horses and dogs.
Yeah, he probably wants in on this shit.
Well,
I mean, there could be a person who's like a savant at one sport, but to be good at horses, dogs, football,
right?
That's unlikely.
Yeah, and what it is, he thinks somebody's rigging it, so he's losing all this money.
Right.
This guy is, and he's like, listen, I'm going to give you a list of other bookies in the area. He said, but I don't want to ever see you come back in. He basically told him he was going to kill him if he ever came back.
Right.
So even with all his worship, his life was still in danger by some of the things he was doing. So later on, though, he ends up meeting these couple that are them 7-day Adventists I was telling you about, and they bring him back. But the people he was with for so long, him and his friend, they put a hit out on him because they couldn't bring him back. And he had weird supernatural things going on because you're not supposed to pay attention to the spirits.
Right.
See, they believe that spirits, there is no good spirits left in the world. There's no, your family moves on or they go to heaven, they go to hell. Some that stay are stuck to purgatory. We talked about earlier with the Catholics believe the priest that does exorcism. You're either a demonic haunting or you're a spiritual human haunting that's tethered to that area. There's no other way around it is what they believe.
We did that on our ghost episode. We talked about how the different types of ghosts, like what there were specters, wraiths, just ones that were tied here for a reason, one that needed something in their lives to move on to the next world.
That's why they're in purgatory, and that's what they say. They said a lot of them people that are in purgatory, these spirits, they're not good. He said they're in purgatory because they were not entirely evil, but they weren't entirely good either.
Really?
And they're suffering. And some of them are maybe people that were murdered and raped, and there's no closure left on their death.
So an alternate theory.
Like so they're stuck in purgatory that bleeds over to us. Apparently hell doesn't bleed over, heaven doesn't, but purgatory is the middle boundary.
Right. You know what? That makes perfect sense because what we were talking about is like ghosts being on a different plane that's right above or right below the plane that we're on.
Yeah.
You haven't watched Stranger Things yet, have you?
No. So, like maybe just just on a different plane. You know, we can see them visually, but it's not.
They
not
bleed in and
accessible.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not as accessible as you would think as like a regular human. You know, because
Yeah.
they're on a different plane. But we're still able to see them. That's kind of like why they're see-through. They're just an apparition.
That's exactly what the Stranger Things was. There was another plane. They called it the Upside Down. It's right under our plane, so to speak. Whenever they asked the little girl to describe where this boy was at, she goes over to their D&D game board or whatever, flips the fucker upside down. You know, he's here, not anywhere on the on the regular side.
Right.
He's in the the underside.
Wow.
You should watch that show.
Roger,
It's great.
though, it gets darker, though, in the story before it ends, because he said while he was with this group of people, remember I talked about earlier, usually your Satanists keep to themselves, you don't know about them, and they're always not about it's the Enlightenment. Well, some of the elitists, they're not really like that. It's all about power. Who has power is in control, and it'll be caught by any means, any gains necessary.
Right.
Well, during that time, Roger kept going, and then, like I said, he left, and they was trying to get him to come back, and but before he left, there was a point where they showed him this library, massive library, like Gothic library.
Right.
And they found a book. There was 2 books. He talks about both of them. I cannot remember the second one, but the other one was supposed to be Satan's General Counsel of the 1700s. And in this book, they list that Satan's rules is what he's wanting to do is he wants to, and we've all heard this before in movie cultures and stuff like that. He wants to make it seem like him and his demons do not exist. They don't exist.
That's like his plan. Is
Yeah.
Well, the old line is the greatest thing the devil ever did was make people believe he doesn't exist.
That was
something
End
like
of
that.
Days, I think, is what they said in that movie as well. Just so it's popped up a lot. But what they're talking about though is because they move on to it, they said that there's going to be this massive industrial period, and that already happened. And you got to think this book was wrote way back then by somebody
in the 1700s.
Yes, yeah. And so
the industrial period didn't start till what, like late 1800s, early 1900s, the big industrial boom.
Yep. And then
Yeah,
people
early 1800s,
people
1700s.
think the industrial period died years ago, which really, if you think about it, really didn't die out till about the 70s. Before the new
I'd say
advances.
they were
It's
still
going, yeah.
industrial.
Well,
yeah,
still, but I'm
that's what
talking about
saying.
the next period because they said then there's going to be another era, and it's going to be a jump in high technology. All right, the best way I can look at it is if you look at the 1990s, look at Zach Morris on Saved by the Bell. Look how big that damn phone was.
Yeah, it was a
Right.
brick.
Yeah. Nowadays, you can make a phone so small you won't even see it if you lose it.
Yeah, you can put the phone on your wrist. It's like a fucking watch now. You know, they've got.
You could have it injected into your ear, basically.
My dog has a thing inside of him when he got out and got
RFID.
locked up. Yeah, and they're able to monitor where he's at. And
They want to
like
do that to all the humans.
Those are real simple devices.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they would
but
like
it's
You have a
just-
problem with having that? I would love
Yes.
to have an RFID chip.
I bet you would.
You know those don't transmit, right? All that is it's like a coil of wire.
Maybe not the one. No, how do they not transmit whenever they can tell you where your dog is?
They don't tell you where your dog is. It's
Maybe
an
not the one you
identification
got.
chip. It's
Yeah.
not a GPS.
Could be.
It's like, is
Have
this
you ever
really
had
my
one?
dog? They run the thing over. Yeah, this is your
Oh,
dog.
so it's not a GPS. It's just a
But what I'm saying
information
is,
thing.
if
Okay.
you
it's like
think,
it's like a driver's license. It's subcutaneously implanted in your
Oh,
dog.
okay.
if you think for
I thought
one
he had
hot
GPS
second,
in him this whole
wait,
time.
wait. If you think for one hot second that they can't put GPS in a fucking RFID chip, you're crazy. Because think about it, man.
You can't. You know, an RFID chip is not so much a chip as it's just a coil.
a little capsule looks like a little pill. It's all it is. It's really small. It goes
That's
right
just the
underneath your skin.
container. That's the container.
Okay, but what I'm getting at is they can put shit in that container.
Okay, let me ask you this. So, say somehow they've created a GPS that's that small. How do they power it? 2, how do
I'm
they
not an engineer. I'm saying it can be done though.
This is the bullshit I'm talking about. You're coming up with crazy, like, if they had the technology of the fucking Anunnaki, somehow they could pull it off.
No.
How would you
It
power
not-
source something like that to make it
You
last for a
wouldn't.
while?
You would lithium-ion batteries or some shit. They've got technology that we don't
Even
know
a
about yet.
lithium-ion...
Because you're never going to be able to take it out to recharge a son of a bitch on somebody. Hey, what
But-
if your own electrical
minute.
system's what charges it, though?
Pacemakers have
There's
like
so
a...
many, yes, there's so
thorium
many
decay,
different
but-
things.
We-
What about
we're
any
high
electrical
voltage
system that you're
creatures, man.
around charges your RFID chip. Maybe those things got like something that can
There's
just
no power
pick up
required
fucking,
for RFID. Because all RFID is a coil that interrupts...
Not
on-
those RFIDs.
You kill me whenever you start to talk about science and technology because you're so ignorant. So ignorant.
So, back on Roger. So then the next part of the story...
Go get chipped, okay?
The next part of Lucifer's plan basically is it's not nothing he's going to do. It's what we do ourselves. He's going to let us discredit ourselves from entering the gates of heaven is what the book rest of tells about. All the acts that we commit on our own.
So he's trying to fool us and, like, I can't go, so you can't go type of thing.
Yeah, by letting us discredit our own selves.
Yeah,
by
like-
our sinful acts that we do every day is
He's
going to
like,
keep
hey,
us
buddy,
out.
you want some of this candy?
Basically, yeah.
But this candy is going to keep you from heaven.
And see, the Satanists, you know what they actually believe in? Do you know they don't believe in a fiery apocalypse? They really don't. They told Roger, here's how it's going to end. He said, they actually said Jesus is going to come down. He's going to take all of his people.
Come
and
on,
they're just going to leave.
Not that Roger.
That's the rapture.
Yeah, they're going to leave. And he said Lucifer is going to take over, and all of his people that are dead are going to rise up, and they're going to stay here on earth with him, and we're going to live in paradise. That's And he said there's going to be no war.
So 2 separate paradises. So his Satan's version, or Satanists, I should say, version of the apocalypse or the impending end of days would
There is
be-
no war.
Yeah, so
No
but
war.
in the Bible they tell you that you got 7 years of trials and tribulations after the horns go off and the rapture happens. That it's feast. It's going to be famine and bloodshed and disease.
That's what the Christians are saying.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's the Bible.
And then the
story that-
Satanists are saying there's not going to be none of that.
and I hate to bring this
They're
up,
going to
but
say they're not going to destroy the world.
they almost have a more pleasant story. You know what I mean? Theirs is almost more believable. Like, I wouldn't want to
But
believe
is
that.
it a
over
lie
this.
though? Because here's what happens.
Now, I
to
don't know
Roger.
if it's a lie. I'm not
Here's
here
what
to
happens
I'm not here to
Roger,
argue with
though.
that. I'm just saying.
in a peaceful situation, Roger left the group. They put a $10,000 bounty on his head. In that period of time, that bounty would be worth about $125,000 to $150,000 today.
I'd pop somebody for that.
A lot of people would. A lot of people would, and he left. Well, they almost
Guaranteed
did.
no get caught? Definitely.
And his friend came to him in fear because him and his friend's the one that joined together and got scouted. They were pressuring his friend to bring him back and threatening his life too at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah, and he had shit happening, and
Sounds like some Scientology shit.
Right. That's what I related that to earlier.
because that's the way it works. They use fear to keep their members in line, and because he was leaving, and even worse, he was going for what was they considered the thing. More of a rival was a 7-day Adventist because they say that's the more truer religion because their day of Sabbath and all that falls on Saturday.
On the Saturday.
That's the real day.
Shabbos.
Yeah, and that's what they believe.
Shomer Shabbos.
Doesn't the Jewish
fucking
don't they
roll.
have it on a
Shomer
Saturday
Shabbos.
as well
Yeah,
too?
that's what we're talking about. Shomer Shabbos.
Yeah, So it
I don't
falls on other
fucking
religions
roll
the same way.
on Shomer Shabbos.
Sure, I don't fucking drive.
Yeah.
Goddamn
I don't
awful.
handle money. And I don't fucking roll on Shomer Shabbos.
That is an awesome
It's great,
movie.
isn't it? I love the.
Who cannot
There's
watch
a lot of
it?
ins and outs.
You ever
and what
notice-
have yous.
He only burns like a doobie one time in the whole movie. He's got a roach in his hand through the whole
the
movie.
guy does
like,
it-
every
yeah.
time.
He
You're
burns
right.
the one. He's like, mind if I do a J?
That's the only one that you see that's a real one. Yeah.
Well, what about whenever he's in the car? He has the
He always has the roach.
The
yeah.
bathtub. roach.
Bathtub roach. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
I always thought that.
it's neither here nor there. Interesting observation. Did you know that every clock in Pulp Fiction was always on 420?
I did
I
not know
didn't know
that.
that.
Pay attention next time you watch.
That's really.
Every clock.
Okay, so I got something. What about if you can just forget everything you've been taught since you were a kid, Satan's bad, God's good, and look at it from a different point of view? Okay, so something that I had read or maybe watched, I can't remember, but it was an interesting deal. It was like, if you think of this as God and Satan as almost like brothers, not this kind of brother, but brothers, and
Hermano.
God didn't want humans to have free will, and Satan did want humans to have free will, and he
I always
ended up.
heard God wanted free will because he wanted people to love him with their own free will.
Yeah, God gave you free will. We was given the wrong knowledge, or the knowledge from Satan, the enlightenment.
Yeah, the
Is that-
knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah, we had free will because Adam and Eve chose.
Well, we didn't
to
have free will.
No,
did we?
but they did, because if they didn't have free will, they would have never chose to bite the
she
apple.
wouldn't
Right,
have
he
been.
said,
She would have been
"Don't do
tempted by
that."
the serpent.
Yeah, he said, "Don't do that." If they,
You can, but you shouldn't.
yeah,
Right, fair enough. Okay, so he was trying to be like. So I had
If
it
you're
backwards.
that
then.
good, he wants to trust. You know what I mean? He wants his creation to have been good. Well, he fucked up.
yeah. He wants you to choose to love him. He don't want you.
But he doesn't want to make you
make
love
you
him.
love him. Yeah, because no one really wants that in life anyway.
Yeah.
You want to be with someone
It's
that
like
you
winning a
make
video
love
game by
you, or
cheating.
you want to be
Right,
with them
right.
because they
This is
really
true.
love you. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true.
It's like winning a game by cheating. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Did you really win?
No, I don't consider it.
Yeah. God gives free will. You're goddamn right.
And that's the whole thing, people get on like, why did God let this
Goddamn
happen?
right.
Why did God let that happen? All actuality, I figured that the way make things work in existence is you got to have a negative and positive reaction anyway. I mean, that's how everything works anyway.
Well, yeah.
And I think it's the same way. God can't stop a hurricane here because it might cause a
So
flood
you
there,
say.
Because it might what?
It might cause a flood here. If I stop an earthquake there, the tension may cause, Chile to explode.
He can't
basically.
stop this malaria mosquito from biting this
So
little
maybe he
kid
just rolled the
because
dice.
Well,
it
it's
would
like a
cause
lot of
hurricane
superheroes
over
have
here.
that same problem. Like, if I save this kid, he might turn out to be the next Hitler. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You see that
Maybe
in
he
movies
just
and-
rolled the dice on us, set everything in motion, and I got
just
the
let it
theory.
go.
He isn't watching us as closely as people think. I sure the hell hate to think he's in the bathroom with me when I'm in there.
Yeah.
That's kind of awkward.
He don't
That's
like
a little
me.
too much
I
me
hope
and God
Satan's a
time.
woman whenever I'm in the bathroom alone.
Wouldn't that be interesting? A lot of people, and movies also. Hell, this is the pop culture episode. Portray God as a woman. I've seen that.
You know, my
and
favorite
heard that.
portrayal of God had to have been
Huh.
George Burns in the Oh God book movies. Oh God Book 1, Oh God Book 2, and Oh God You Devil. You ever see those?
Never.
Oh man, I guess I'm too old for you guys.
I got
but-
2 favorite
Fucking
portrayals
George
of God.
Burns and his stogie smoking ass played both God and the devil.
Oh, it was a comedy, wasn't it? Yeah.
I got 2 favorite portrayals of God. Morgan Freeman in Bruce Almighty.
Yeah,
That was a good God.
And the next one, the Evan Almighty.
Evan Almighty, he was the same. Yeah, and then there's the chick, Atlantis Morissette in Dogma.
We're not
Oh
talking about
yeah.
God. We're
Well,
talking about that surly little demon.
Right, but you know where
Okay,
we're
but
going
the
to go
devil
next,
though,
don't you?
who's your best devil appearance?
Tim Curry.
Okay,
easy.
yeah, that's everyone's favorite. But like
You know
actor
what?
wise, but it's not with the
Chicken.
makeup. I really like the original devil in the first Bedazzled movie, like the
Oh,
old
Elizabeth
ones.
Hurley.
No, not the new one with her and Brendan Fraser. The old British
Say,
one.
I'm with you there,
I
pal.
remember that
This
one.
dude was such an asshole, man. He'd go to a little old lady's house and trick her into thinking she won something, but first she had to go make sure she had the right amount of ingredients in her house. So she'd go to the store, spend all her money, come back. He's like, oh, but you were so close. You missed it by like 20 seconds. He's in there eating all of her food and shit while she's gone.
What are some other good movies that portray?
So Viggo Mortensen
Ooh,
in The Prophecy.
Prophecy. He was.
I never watched The Prophecy.
That's the best comment of hell, by the way, ever.
It was
the
great.
way he says
3
what
movies in
hell
that
is.
series.
What's
He
he
says hell is not a place of lake of fire and chains of ice. He said it's being removed from the absence of God's word.
Oh, okay.
Meaning that
Just so
having
you no
God's
longer
word
feel the
taken
divine
from-
presence.
Yeah, it's like it's complete despair knowing it. This
Well,
is
if God's
it
word isn't
forever.
there, it's God's rules aren't there either.
Yeah.
So
Open game.
Ooh.
Here's what I always wondered though: you take an angel and a demon, same thing, or not, evil spirit. But in my opinion, a human person is way more wicked than any of them could ever be. We do acts of cruelty to
don't
one
know.
another every single day. We have people that eat one another and rape the bodies and then eat the
who's
bodies.
to say that's bad or good if it's their culture? If my culture is cannibals, I mean, it's right for me.
But that's what I'm saying. You think about it; it's still a cruel act.
Kyle Purvis
I
said
mean-
God created Hitler.
Then we, in
Thanks,
a lot
Kyle.
of ways, we're probably
Oh, hey,
the
Mark.
demons of our own planet.
That's that hi to the guy.
Well, I mean, you could look at it that way.
Because there's a lot of people that do horrible, horrible things. I mean,
Oh,
Saddam,
yeah.
he tortured his own people on a constant basis, gassed them several times.
Yeah, there's that saying that Assad used chemical weapons on his people in Syria, which
Stalin killed a lot of his old people.
Stalin
Hitler-
did kill a lot of his own people though too.
Look what we did to Christ. So
Here's another
Native
one.
Americans.
Yeah.
Here's another one of my favorite.
my old lady loves that one, man.
Satan and Hell. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
that
a
was
great
pretty
iteration of hell because it was your own personal hell. It
Right.
wasn't just a
It's
general
not only just
hell.
one personal hell, it was many
Multiple,
personal hells
yeah.
you could find.
Infinite personal
And
hells.
the devil was just a giant fucking demon-looking dude pulling some like gears and stuff.
Yeah,
It
it put
was
you in the
neat.
different boxes and shit.
Well, they always say in Catholic that the hell is not supposed to really be the devil's rule. It's actually supposed to be his prison.
Really?
Yeah, and that's how the whole purgatory works. When he fell and hit the earth, he dove down so many to like the 9th circle, the last one. And when he did, he pushed that mountain out the side, and that mountain's was purgatory. And at the top of it's the Garden of Eden.
Really?
You guys ever wonder, like, if God and the devil are such almighty, powerful beings, who gives a shit about humans? Why bother what we think? You know what I mean? It's like we're not asking.
Because it's a
ants.
game. It could be a game to them.
Well, it's like I don't want to be involved in your game.
Well, that's
The
ultimate
game is
you know?
this. The game is this. God and the devil are standing there, and it's like I'm going to try to get as many people on my side.
It's
you try
Red
to get as
Rover,
many
Red Rover,
on
is
your
what you're
side.
saying.
But the trick is they have free will. You can't fuck with their free will.
It's
You
biblical
can only,
Red Rover.
you
That's
know.
what life is.
Yeah, because that's the thing too. A whole thing about exorcism with demon possession is they can't take your soul from you, especially if you ain't done nothing wrong. What their goal is to make you commit that ultimate act, either murder or suicide, and that's how your soul ends up going to hell.
Those
because
cardinal sins.
yeah, because you think about it, your soul don't really belong to you because you're not allowed to corrupt it. You're not allowed to do this to it. You're not allowed to do that. To me, it sounds like you're leasing it. So if it's something you don't own, how can you sell what you don't own?
I don't know. If you believe the Christian way of thinking about it, I feel like that my consciousness and my soul, if you will, whatever my essence is, I own it. It's me. Come at me, God, if you want to take it back, if you're real.
Yeah, I like
I'm
that.
just saying, it's
That
me.
you sound like now, don't you? Lieutenant Dan.
I sound like Lucifer, don't I?
No, you sound like Lieutenant Dan.
I'm here. Where are you?
Time for a
Speaking of
showdown.
Lucifer, that show, you guys definitely got to watch it. Catch up on the first season. The new season will be coming up
Lucifer?
next year. Yeah, you got to watch it because they portray the devil in a way. He loves sin. He loves to act that way.
Oh, go
but
figure.
he hates actual like sin. He likes lustful things, indulgence, but he don't like murderers. He hates liars.
Really?
He hates charlatans. He don't like people that
Charlatans?
pretend to be
He likes
something they're not.
carnal sin. That's
Yeah,
what-
he enjoys that because in the show, man, nothing makes him more angry is when people come link him to actual evil.
Here's two good comments from YouTube. What about Tales from the Hood? I have never seen that, but I know.
That's good. Yeah,
say somebody
that's
here-
a good ghetto spooky movie with the devil.
And the next one being The Nihilist in Constantine. And I remember the whole movie Constantine, but who is the nihilist?
He's talking about the nihilist from. This is deep. So in The Big Lebowski, remember the nihilist? We would cut your balls off. That guy.
right.
Yeah.
He was in Constantine as the devil.
Oh yeah, the Russian
I like
guy.
this guy.
Yeah, the Russian
I like
from
how-
Armageddon.
I like how he links the.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it, man.
That
I
was
I speak Kyle.
You speak
so I can-
Purvis? You speak.
We call it
Everett
speaking
speaks
movie
Purvis.
trivia. Yeah.
The nihilist in Constantine. Gosh, that was such a great part. Yeah.
I can't believe I put that together.
Constantine had a great devil though,
Yeah.
which was the nihilist from that movie, and he
Yeah.
was. That also had to do with the Spear of Destiny in
Exactly.
Constantine.
But
Gosh,
you know what? That didn't
was
have
a
to
good
do with the
movie.
devil, though. That was about the devil's son.
Well, right. But
In
the
a
devil
way,
had to
the
come in
devil
and fix it all.
saved it.
he
Yeah,
had to come in
yeah.
and fix it all.
I love it though when he's floating away and he throws
He grabs
the
that
finger
cancer out of him.
Yeah,
No, because he pulls him back. Because okay, so
makes him
since-
live to fuck up for another day.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like if you know, because he sacrificed himself to save that woman from hell.
Mm-hmm.
So the devil was dragging him back to hell, and all of a sudden, because he sacrificed himself, God took him, and so he got all pissed off and was like, "No, you're not dead yet." He pulled that cancer out of his chest, like you're gonna have enough time to fuck up again, so I can get you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Has ever-
Gosh, that Constantine was a good movie. I
Did you ever
really,
see Spawn?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Dude, that was great. How have you not seen? You haven't seen so many good movies. You know what? You're a piece of shit when it comes to pop
What'd
culture.
you just say?
When it comes to pop culture, you're a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, you ever watch Daredevil?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not the
Oh,
show,
I haven't
but the
seen
movie.
that. I haven't seen that.
I don't watch the show.
You haven't seen Daredevil
seen that either. No, I'm not into Ben Affleck very much, man.
I'm not
He's
either.
not in the
I
show.
will not watch the.
I'll give it. He did all right.
the new Batman. I was
He was
just
an
gonna
all
say, I
right
will.
Batman. I mean, I've
Oh,
seen
it was
way worse.
good.
Right. What about TV shows though? Other than like Lucifer, you know, we got like Supernatural.
My
out
notes
there.
on Lucifer I thought was kind of funny, and I don't really remember writing this, but I wrote Lucifer. Not sure how this one relates to the devil. I thought it was funny. Like, it's obvious. It's fucking Lucifer himself.
Right.
I'm an asshole.
What about at the end of that
Think
movie, Cabin in the Woods, where I can only assume those are devils because they're like the ancient gods and they have big red fiery hands or
yeah,
whatever. That could be
yeah.
like, and they come up from the ground. That would be like a good
The
iteration of
Ancients
the
is
devil.
what they call them.
The ancients, yeah.
Well, like
Little Nicky.
you ever seen that show Reaper?
Reaper. I've never seen
That
Reaper.
was a comedy done by what's his name? Man, he did Jay and Silent Bob. He was Silent Bob.
Kevin Smith?
Yeah, it was
I
a
know
show.
Blizz.
It was good.
I've
It was
never
a,
seen Spawn.
I can't remember the
fucking
guy's
suck.
name.
Okay.
The devil, he has to pull his son out of like, you know, he's his son somewhere in the world, you know, or something like that. Anyway, he has this kid go and he's a reaper. He brings back evil souls that escape hell, and he works directly for the devil. And the
Cool.
devil is
That's
this,
a lot like Spawn. Well, kind of.
well, and it's a comedy though. It's really funny. It's him and a couple of his buddies and stuff, and you know they're in like high school, like 18 and stuff. And what it is the devil though. I like how they portray him. He's real slick. He don't drink. He don't do drugs because he says it clouds the mind. And he's very intelligent.
This is true.
Yeah, and so he doesn't like
That
things
is the
like
point
that.
of them, though.
Yeah.
Point of drugs to cloud the mind.
What about here? You go. Here's a couple classic ones, and you should like the guy who does it. Josh Whedon does the Avenger movies.
Joss Whedon, yeah.
Yeah, he did Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He did
and
Firefly.
Angel and Firefly.
Love Firefly.
I didn't know he did Firefly. That's that TNT show, right? About aliens?
No. God damn. Move along. We're going to skip by him.
That's a sci-fi one.
Yeah, dude, it's outer space. It's like Space Cowboys.
But it's not
Really?
aliens though. It's like kind of more what happened
Dude,
with us.
it was
when
a
we
beautiful
advanced
show. They
further.
only had
Was
one
it?
season, but it was great.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch The 100? Has nothing to do with Satan, but that was really good too.
No, I didn't.
You ever watched The 100?
No.
You've got it on Plex. Or that thing that shall not be named.
Here's one though that's not really Satanism, but it's still pretty good. Ash versus Evil Dead. You guys seen that yet?
No, but I love the Evil Dead originals and
that was
Army
a
of
good one.
Darkness.
Yes, yeah. But they didn't really direct. It wasn't really Satan that they talked about, but it was all of like hell and demons and stuff. Priest. You guys seen that lately on TV?
I know of it though. It's on AMC.
That's
yeah.
No, I don't know of it.
It's pretty.
It's only
strange.
got one season. It's pretty new. I don't know.
I don't know.
They're-
I've never
I
heard
think
of
they're
that.
doing a second season on it. It's pretty interesting.
What about the Simpsons version of the devil? We were talking about this before the show started. It's always Ned Flanders is the
Oh,
devil.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like remember the
He's
one where
got the-
Homer
the
sold
high-
his soul for the devil or for the donut?
For the donut, yeah.
It was one of the original Treehouse of Horror episodes when we were kids.
Pointy tail, high neck on
Yeah.
You know what? We got one.
Hi diddly ho. Give me your soul.
Here's a devil we haven't even mentioned yet, and I'm surprised by it. The Devil's Advocate, Al Pacino.
Oh, she's got a great ass.
You know what? His end speech at the end, that movie at the end of it, that was iconic, man. That speech.
Oh,
That whole
yeah.
movie was pretty good.
That was a good one.
His whole pitch, his sell pitch, is what that was.
You gotta admit, it's been a great 2,000 years. Or whatever.
What's he say? If you can't deny that the entire 19th century was all me.
I like what he says. I'm a humanist. Maybe the last humanist.
I liked Little Nicky. Who
That was good. That's on my list, too.
Who was the actual devil? Who was
It was
who was his
Rodney
dad?
Dangerfield was the grandpa, which is the original devil.
Liam Neeson was the devil, though.
No,
wasn't it?
no, it was the dude from fucking.
Who was
he was
it?
Mr. He was in Reservoir Dogs.
Oh yeah, what's his name? Harvey
Oh,
Keitel.
Yeah,
Harvey Keitel?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
who?
right.
Oh, that right.
Yeah,
It was Harvey
yeah.
Keitel.
I don't know why I was
They
thinking
had a lot
Liam Neeson for
of
some
homosexual undertones in that movie.
Well, Kevin Nealon with the tit head.
Right.
I got a couple good serious movies though that was good. Like Heath Ledger was winning one of them. The Order. That was a Satanist group.
I never watched that.
He was the sin eater. He could remove your sin from you before you died and allow you to go to heaven. So basically, he could have got Hitler into heaven.
Did he charge?
Yes.
Did he charge?
Fortunes. They were giving up like Mona Lisas and stuff like that. The actual paintings for him to.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a good one. And then you have Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp.
Haven't seen it. I'm not a big Johnny Depp guy.
that's
What
a
about
pretty
the
weird
Gate
movie.
movies? Those aren't really about the devil, but they're about hell.
Well, sort of. Yeah, those were great because that was one of the first times I saw like rituals talked about. The kid had the album and the really hardcore death metal, Satan metal band.
Yeah, you have to
and
play
he
it
plays
backwards and
he
shit.
gets the incantations and they read them out loud in their backyard and fucking lightning strikes a tree and a portal to hell gets like.
Those were pretty scary when we were 7 and 10. You
Dude,
know what I mean?
Stabs
Those
his
were-
hand with that dog
I
leg. Get
loved
the
it.
eye.
Yeah, gosh, that was a good. Oh yeah, because he had the eye in the palm.
Yeah,
Fuck,
yeah.
those were good movies.
And then he ends up killing him with the rocket, like the model rocket.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Well, you know what's crazy?
Because it was an instrument of love because it was given to him by his parents.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty cool.
If you look past the Johnny Depp part, you might like the Ninth Gate because it's all about rituals. There's this book, and there's like 18 pages, but only 9 of them are actually illustrated and written by the devil, and it's a way to summon paradise. And
Really?
it's a crazy thing. They're tracking down these books to get. There's 3 books, so I'm sorry. There's 9 pages, but only so many of them's real, something like that. And they open the Ninth Gate, and it's like paradise or hell or something. It's never really cryptic.
I'll take 2 tickets to paradise.
I'll
Pack your
pack my
bags.
bags to leave tonight.
Sounds good.
Well, here, so is there any truth to actually like playing a record backwards and it's saying shit? I mean,
Paul
how
is dead.
how accurate do you have to actually say shit forward to make it?
Here's what we ought to do.
I
We ought to
mean-
find a song that's purported to have that, like shit like that, and I'll digitally turn it around. We'll listen to it. You don't need a record player to play it backwards these days.
No,
Well, they
you're
say
right.
Stairway to Heaven actually says, I got it wrote right here on, it says, I'm sorry, it's my sweet Satan, oh, I will sing because I live with Satan. Supposedly when you pull that one back around here with Stairway? To
Stairway?
Heaven, yeah.
No
I've never heard
shit.
that until I looked that up the other night because I was looking at some fun facts.
We were
for
talking
it.
about some other Led Zeppelin shit that related to Zozo, remember?
Yep. Oh, yeah. And
With the fucking Ouija boards and shit.
Yeah.
That's a demon, not really the devil, but still, go ahead.
they they don't know if it's a demon either because it plays the line. They think it could be something else because it
Well, if
doesn't
it's
respond.
something at all, rather than people just moving another thing around.
I see a lot of them. I think it's just that is they got now it's
But
so popular that people are wanting to act like.
I
it's
still
going on.
hold, though, true that there could be, even if 99.99% of people are full of shit about that, there's still that 0.01%.
Well, there's
About what?
Ouija boards and anything
Oh.
like that. Alien abductions. You can't rule nothing like that out.
Well, there's
No,
a lot
I-
of falseness to it because, like, even you guys know the band Spinal Tap, right?
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Nigel. He says that whole devil thing right there where they put it up. He said they don't know how that got started. That was
I
just.
know exactly how that started.
He said it was just pantomiming is what they were
How'd that
doing.
get started?
That's
Pantomiming.
Dio.
Dio?
Dio was the first one. He got it from his grandma, though. She used to do it was like a devil sign, so he started doing it in his concerts. Like,
Oh, because Nigel
the go-ahead.
Nigel
Horns.
said it was just more pantomiming is all they were doing with it. They said it didn't really have any origin. They just was like throwing their hands up and doing a symbol or something, and
the
that
well-known
caught
thing
on.
I've always heard it was Dio.
I got to look
Might
that
check
up
into
because
that.
Nigel he's saying it was
Well,
just
also,
pantomiming.
Spinal Tap was bullshit, though. You know that, right?
No.
It was a fake movie. That wasn't a real band. Tell me you know that Spinal Tap wasn't a real band.
No,
right?
I've never really listened much to Spinal Tap. I won't lie.
It was done by Rob Reiner, the same guy that did fucking that
We were just talking about it earlier. Princess
Princess
Bride.
Bride. Yeah, it was a mockumentary.
Oh.
That's why they had 11 drummers. They all died. It was like the curse. Like their drummer would always die. Every time you see the band again, is a different drummer. The drummer had just died.
I didn't know that.
This goes to 11. I mean, it's a mockumentary. It's not real.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I
that's
didn't
probably
know
why he's
that.
like, yeah, we're just pantomiming. They don't know. It's made up.
Now I got a good one for you guys. You guys Stones fans?
Rolling Stones, yeah.
Yeah.
Sympathy for the Devil.
Okay, did you know that Mick Jagger started wearing a crucifix around his neck after some Hell's Angels members killed an audience member
At
during,
Altamont.
Yeah, during the Sympathy
Yeah,
for
that
the
was a
Devil.
Grateful Dead and Rolling Stone show at Altamont, California,
Really?
Yeah,
at a raceway.
Yeah.
They hired the fucking Hell's Angels, like a great idea to run security.
Oh man.
And they beat this kid, this black kid in the audience, and eventually stabbed the shit out of him and killed him right in front of the stage.
During Sympathy for the Devil.
Oh, my
while that song
God.
was playing.
For real?
Sad.
Yeah,
No,
for real.
dude. It was a big deal. One of the things that killed the flower, the peace love generation. That was like the death nail for
yeah.
the flower generation.
Because they killed somebody at one of the big concerts of Dead and Stones, huh?
Right.
Man,
And
that's
Mick
crazy.
Jagger, after that, he started wearing a crucifix. It got to him that bad.
Really?
Yep.
Let's talk about the best Devil song ever.
Oh God.
Which one?
Beelzebub.
Beelzebub?
No, that's pretty good.
He
I mean,
asked us. Be your
that's not
angels.
Beelzebub. That's tribute.
That's tribute, yeah, and we said nay. That's such a great song.
You're fucking it up here, man. No, they're both great songs, but I would
What's
argue
Scarlet
that tribute
Pimpernel
isn't
mean?
about the devil.
Yeah, it's
That's
about the
Beelzebub.
greatest song in the world.
Well,
that's the
it was a
tribute, yeah.
demon. It was a shiny demon
They couldn't
in the
remember.
middle of the road.
They couldn't remember the greatest song in the world.
But
That's why that
the
was just a
Beelzebub
tribute.
was definitely about the devil.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm saying. So what's a Scarlet Pimpernel?
It's supposed to be like the book, the Scarlet Pumpernickel or whatever.
That's Pumpernickel.
No, hold on, the Scarlet.
I looked this up a long time ago, and I'm drawing a blank because I was curious too what it was.
Pimpernel. Yeah, it's a movie. I don't know. Let's just say none of us know.
It's probably sexual
on.
though because of what he's doing in the movie while it's playing.
Blizz says this is a Satanist gang sign. This is their gang sign that they're
Well,
kind
Blizz
of
is a dummy. Sorry, Blizz.
He might be right. How do you know he's
Dio.
not in like Satan
He's
gang?
not a dummy. I'm just giving him shit. Sorry, Blizz. I don't know you. I hope I can joke with you like that.
You should tell him fuck off. No.
Get him, Blizz.
Yeah, get his ass.
All right. What about you guys weren't Star Trek
Shout.
fans, were you?
Oh, I was gonna
What
do
was
that
it?
like
Star Trek. You guys
Shout
didn't
at
watch
the
Star
devil.
Trek.
I never really watched Star Trek.
So Next Generation, there was a really good episode where they go to this planet, and so the history of this planet says 1,000 years before, this woman who basically is their version of the devil gave a contract, like a Faustian type contract with them, that they were having war and all kinds of societal problems, and she says, sign this contract with me that for 1,000 years I will give you peace and prosperity, but at the end of that I own your whole planet, everything on it, everything in the sky around it. And they signed it, and for 1,000 years they had peace and prosperity. So here comes the present day. This is why it's a Star Trek episode. She's returned. This Ardra was the name of the character.
Uh-huh.
So Picard's like, bullshit, you're not the devil, or you're not Ardra, you're just some bullshit scam artist. Turns out he was right. She was a scam artist, but she's saying, I'm called Ardra here. Where you come from, I'm the devil. She transforms into the devil, then into the Klingon devil, and just every different type of devil.
Really?
She was claiming to be this entity that is the ultimate evil across all these civilizations. It was a pretty neat episode.
That reminds me of the Doctor Who episode where they find the devil out in the middle of the universe. It's
I wish I can get into Doctor Who.
I never did either, but that's what caught my attention was that episode, and I watched it. Plus that Billy.
What
Piper
about the
shit.
elevator
It was too
movie, The
bad.
Devil?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they,
Blizz just put that up. He says the movie where they're all stuck in the elevator. It's called
Oh,
Devil.
it was M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, it
that
was.
that was a crazy one for me to watch. 'cause
Spoiler,
I don't-
wasn't
I'm-
it the old lady?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I'm pretty sure it was the old lady.
I had trouble watching that, man, because I don't like them tight spaces. I don't
Really?
like elevators. So for me, I was like, dude, this is even worse to be trapped inside an elevator.
My claustrophobia is acting up. I can't fucking watch
I
this
was like,
one.
I just hope I die first and it's quick, man. That way I gotta suffer to the end.
Did you guys ever get into role-playing games like D&D? I don't think Eric ever did.
No,
I
I'm
did,
not
but it
into
was
it.
the more virtual
Our
video game.
Our
kinda
frequent
games,
host Alex
RPGs.
does a lot of D&D though.
So
I was always curious about
there
that.
was another one called Vampire the Masquerade. When we were kids, you remember Doug and Jed?
Oh yeah.
And their whole group, I wasn't really into it because they insisted on role-playing, and that really turned me off of it. There was a game they played called Vampire the Masquerade that had a real big presence of the devil. That was, I always remember that was something about it. So I'll bring that up now.
Well,
Shout out to Doug and Jed if you guys are ever listening. It's been a while since we talked, but hello.
for the devil, if you really want to get into games today, Diablo series.
Diablo, of course.
Yeah, I mean, even two of them, the main two, Diablo and Mephisto, both are the devil's names.
True.
Oh yeah.
Baal, though, like I said, he's the only one I've ever seen that I couldn't find that was actually really the devil, even though some of them think it is. He's more known as like an Eastern demon.
Sure.
Some people, they used to release a goat to the east into the desert to appease him. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of all these songs and stuff we're talking about, I made a playlist on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel,
yeah.
youtube.com/Surreal Talk Podcast.
Everett was busy.
And I made a YouTube channel that's like every song that has to deal with the devil in it.
Oh, nice.
It's got like 20-something songs in it, from Beelzebub to The Devil Went Down to Georgia to some Robert Johnson.
Friend of the Devil is a friend of mine.
That's another one. Robert Johnson,
The
man.
old Crossroads.
Yeah, that's where Supernatural got their whole Crossroads demon story from.
It's just another Faustian thing. I'm selling my soul for ability.
But you know what was really strange
I
about
do that.
him? He sucked. He was a very horrible musician. 6 months later, he comes back and he's the new fucking whatever of the world.
He's the Eddie Van Halen of the 30s. You know?
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Really?
Nowhere, man. Within less than 6 months period of time. And he
was
always said
terrible?
that. Horrible.
Well, I don't know the
horrible.
whole story myself, but you may well.
And he always claimed that he sold his soul to the devil for it, you know. And that's where he even talks about in one of his songs. If I might be wrong, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I think it was something to do with the Hellhounds itself, and that's where the show Supernatural got that whole Crossroads and Make a Deal and the Hellhound story.
Well, there was the movie Crossroads. Did you guys see that? It had
No,
Ralph Macchio in it.
I didn't see that.
You know,
Oh yeah, I did.
Where they played the guitar.
dude
It was
that
the same thing.
Yeah, the kid that was a karate kid.
Right.
Yeah, I seen that.
Him and this black dude go around trying to figure out, how to play the blues, and the old black man knows how to do it, and Ralph Macchio is trying to learn, but eventually they meet the devil, which is another old black dude down in the South who's got his own little white dude who can play the guitar, which happens to be Steve Vai. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Steve Vai. He's just kick-ass. He mostly does instrumental stuff. He's been in a few bands. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, we talked about that earlier. He's the one that played the guitar at the end of it.
Oh.
The whole God Gave Rock and Roll to You.
God gave
that whole
rock and
opening, that beautiful
That's Steve
guitar.
Vai.
That's
You
Steve
know what?
Vai.
I have heard of that before. I've heard of that name, Steve Vai, before.
But he played the devil's guitar player in that. More or less it was a Devil Went Down to Georgia type of thing, and it was his representation in the duel.
Yeah,
neat.
I seen that when I was a little kid. That one with Ralph Macchio, or however you say his name, and I never knew that's what that was about. And I've not seen that movie since I was a kid. And the only reason I recognize it because the actor was the dude from Karate Kid. You know?
Mr.
There's
Miyagi
another
was pretty
Iron Maiden
cool.
song I put on that list. The obvious one, 666.
Six,
The
six,
number
six,
of the
six.
beast.
Yeah.
Oh, number, not the mark. That's right.
Yeah.
That's Iron Maiden, right?
Yeah, Iron Maiden. I want to look at the rest of that.
That's
playlist.
that's that dude's.
I like Shout at the Devil.
Oh,
Oh
Crew.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dun,
Shout.
dun, dun.
Shout at the devil.
I love Crew. Man.
Mine's still "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Stones. That's still my favorite song.
I like the Guns N' Roses version of it. Did you ever hear theirs?
They're the only one that did a good job. You know, they came at the end of that movie, Interview with the Vampire.
Right.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard it. I was like, holy shit, that is in Rolling Stones. They did justice to it. I like it, man. Not a lot of people can top the Stones, in my opinion.
Really?
Redoing their music.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
I like that little Korean singer for Journey. He sounds excellent. He
He's
sounds
not
just
Korean,
like
he's
Steve,
Filipino, I believe.
Steve Perry. Is that what he is, Filipino?
Something
I don't
like
care.
that.
That
He
dude
ain't
sounds
Korean.
just like Steve Perry. Have you ever
Nice.
heard that? Oh, I like Journey. Journey's a good band.
Oh, I do too.
So let's see here. Oh, shit, I fucked up.
Yes, you did.
Shut up. So we got Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, Christmas with the Devil. I don't know who that's by. Friend of the Devil by the Grateful Dead. Shout at the Devil by Crew. Running with the Devil by Van Halen. Sympathy for the Devil, the Stones. Devil Went Down to Georgia, Charlie Daniels. Devil Come Back to Georgia, Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Tribute by the D, Beelzebub.
What about the David Allen Cohen? Devil Went Down to Jamaica.
Devil Went to Jamaica?
Devil Went to
He was
Jamaica.
looking to sell some weed.
Yeah.
They were doing fine. They were standing in line. It was excellent weed indeed.
What about literature? though,
Come
of
out
the
across
devil,
the
outside
shoulder
the
of Salt
Bible?
Man.
Well, Stephen
Peddling
King had
pot.
Needful Things. Did you ever read that book?
No, I didn't.
It was about a guy who ran more or less like a secondhand store in Maine. All of his shit takes place in Castle Rock, Maine, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like they were all cursed items. Buy the monkey paw. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Buy this lamp that's gonna fuck you over in a week. That's sort of thing.
Have you ever heard of the book Swan Song?
Nope.
I
Richard
cannot-
Swansong?
I don't know who wrote it, but it's a really thick book, man, and it's actually about the devil and nuclear war. He's actually the one pushing all of us nations to go into a nuclear fallout war. And how it starts off, one of the things how you find out it's the devil is he's in this movie theater. You remember that video, Faces of Death?
Oh, yeah.
Course.
Yeah, that's what's airing, and he's the only one in there, and these kids that's there working are creeped out, and he's the only one in there, and he's laughing, and he's eating popcorn. But what happens is when it talks and goes to him, when he's eating the popcorn, he's actually got a mouth here. He's got one on his forehead. He's got one over here on the
Sounds
other
like
side.
somebody's on acid looking at him.
Yeah, he's putting popcorn in all these different spots of his mouth.
Interview with the Vampire just got Mandela.
How so?
I don't know. He'll have to explain that one to us.
Interview with a vampire. Interview with the vampire. He's got.
Just got Mandela.
I speak Kyle. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I want to finish my list here. Highway to Hell was another good one. AC/DC. Beck, Devil's Haircut.
I don't know that one.
Devil's Haircut.
I never listened to Beck.
Beck's okay. Slayer, Hell Awaits. Black Sabbath with Dio. Heaven and Hell. That's a good jam.
Dio was awesome.
I love Dio. Burn in Hell by Twisted Sister. You're gonna burn in hell.
I don't know that one either.
Pee Wee Herman. You remember that was the video they were doing?
In the movie?
Yeah. That was the song. Alice Cooper, Go to Hell. Marilyn Manson, Hard Road Out of Hell. There's another guy that's really like demonic. He's got the whole Antichrist superstar thing going on. And I don't know much about Marilyn. I like some of his songs, but I don't know nothing about his rhetoric.
No, I don't. Nah, I think it's all bullshit. I think he's just a poser.
He's a smart dude, though. If you ever listen to him talk,
right? Marketing. There you go. I think he's just a poser. I think
the weird sells.
Weird sells. Exactly right, Mark. That's a great point.
Devil's
weird
Island by
sells.
Megadeth. I'm not a huge Megadeth guy, but I remember that song. Elvis Presley, Devil in Disguise.
That's
She
surprising.
walks like
too,
an
man.
angel.
Do you know people
I don't know it.
You're the devil in disguise.
Elvis has been accused of
Did
Satanism.
you guys know we have Elvis in the studio with us?
I am Elvis.
Has been accused of Satanism? I didn't know that.
There are rumors that people try to say that Elvis was part of some kind of crazy group.
He probably was.
I mean, he could have been.
Holy shit, give me a cheeseburger french fry right now. Goddamn right.
Oh, where's Marilyn Magdalene at?
And some virgin blood to go with it.
So, Devil with the Blue Dress on. Good golly, Miss Mom was the other part of that, but Devil with the Blue Dress.
Yeah,
the movie Repossessed we were talking about.
Yeah, but who sang that, though?
See, it's right here. It's written down as Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, but I always thought it was Little Richard.
That sounds familiar. Like, that does make sense of it being Little Richard. I remember that, but I don't know why.
Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels.
He was in it. No. He was the one in the movie. In the actual movie Repossessed singing that song.
That could have been it. Johnny Cash, Devil's Right Hand, Devil Man by Rob Zombie. And the last song I had on there was a song called Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique.
I don't know anything about it.
Me either, but that was a pretty fun list I put together. I was jamming on it all day the other day, planning this show out.
What about, okay, now this isn't so much pop culture, and maybe it is a little bit pop culture. The pentagram is something we didn't talk about at all. That's like the biggest sign of the devil. Yeah, like the pentagram.
That was Anti-LaVey's creation.
Was it? That was his. That was the guy that started
the whole
the
demon and the thing.
He was the first person to use the pentagram?
Well, I don't know about the actual pentagram, but the goat, that was him.
Oh, that's Baphomet.
Oh, the goat head, Baphomet?
Yeah, and the goat itself. Just, the regular goat head inside there. His Church of Satan is what came up with that. They created that.
Now, that pentagram's been around for a really long time, though.
Yeah, but it also comes up in a lot of other cultures, too. It's one of them universal symbols.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, pentagram. Wikipedia credits Anton LaVey and the Baphomet for using that as, because the upside-down pentagram is basically the head of the Baphomet.
Yes.
So, I don't know. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, so that you got to think about that symbolism. It truly, when I think about Satan rituals, it goes back to one thing: sacrifice, blood. Because if you go all the way back to Druid practices as well, blood's power. Everything. They even talk about ancient aliens and things like that on today's show. There was something in the blood. They knew something in the blood. Blood this, blood that. So really, I don't see symbols of them being the power. I think it's the idea, the sacrifice of what you're doing, the blood itself, and then the notion of what you're doing.
Right.
The whole idealism of this is what I'm taking, this is what I want.
Almost like a what do they call that? Where you take a pill and it doesn't really do anything, but you think it does.
Placebo.
Almost like a placebo.
That's mystical mind type shit right there.
Yeah, almost like a placebo. We think the blood's doing this, so it is.
Because they even said in them 9 sins that you was reading off that one of them said something about brainwashing. The techniques of it.
I did. I can't remember which one it was, but one of them did say
it's irrelevant at this point.
But still, yeah, the idea. So if you think about it, there's we even talked about earlier about the voodoo thing of zombies. You blow the powder in the face, they come.
Oh yeah, that scoplia or whatever, that devil's breath or whatever that drug is.
I think a lot of this comes down to control. Even the Vatican does it with we was talking about earlier with confession. If a king or queen gives up a horrible confession because they're trying to repent and sin and save themselves. Well, that's a lot of power, man.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of power. To have
you effectively have dirt on the king.
Yeah, it's like the Rose affair I was talking about earlier. With King Louis XIV's mistress, Louis. Yeah, mistress was involved in that scandal of murder.
Right, that was a real big deal around that time.
Yeah, it was big.
No, that's not the one that beheaded his wife. That was the 8th.
No, that was Henry.
That's
VIII.
Henry VIII.
Yeah.
That's England. Louis XIV was French. He was the Sun King. He's the one that had the big fucking palace there. What was it called?
They also wrote that movie on him, Man in the Iron Mask, as well.
Versailles.
They thought something along the lines.
Right, his brother. Louis was the Leonardo DiCaprio in Man in the Iron Mask.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had the whole what was it? The Jesuits and everything that was going on at that point in time. The revolution.
The Jesuits were just another sect of.
Well, they were more of a religious group for Christ because that's Jesuit Jew or
Jews, us,
Jesus,
Jesuits,
Jesus.
They were more
Jesus.
for the people.
I like my religions like I like my Jesus.
Supposedly more for the people.
I thought you were gonna say holy.
Maybe.
That's kind of rough, isn't it?
Yeah, I like my underwear a lot. I like my Jesus.
I may have went
Holy.
too far there.
Oh, Susan
man.
Atkins was that.
Yeah, that's
girl.
what I'm saying. I may have went too far with that.
Oh, man. Did you see that thing I posted the other day about Jesus getting his nails done?
Yeah, that was horrible, dude.
That was
Guys, I
bad.
think we're getting to that point now.
I think so,
I
too.
only got 2 more movies I wanted to talk about. Rosemary's Baby.
I don't know it.
I know you probably never seen it, but it was about a woman who was raped by the devil and gives birth to the Antichrist.
Ooh, that sounds
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And The
Wait a
Omen.
minute. Who starred in that? I might have seen that.
It's an old movie. It's like 60s.
Okay, never mind. Black
The
and white,
Omen was
maybe.
another one. Satan's son is the Antichrist. He
And
was a little
Damien,
bastard,
right?
Yeah. You remember? There was a scene in The Omen where
They've made Omen 2 and 3, I believe, also. Out of
yeah,
that.
where this priest is out like outside this fucking church, I believe, and Damien makes these big pipes fall off the top, and one of them spears this priest straight through the chest, and it's going so fast it stabs through the priest and sticks in the ground. He's just kind of stuck on this.
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
hole. That's pretty cool.
Kind of like at the end of X-Men Apocalypse when Magneto throws all of them pieces of steel through Apocalypse. And
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty gory sight too.
Yeah. All right, well, let's
for
remind people
everyone-
again, the call-in show. If you got any kind of topics, send us an email, send us a Facebook message. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, review.
Why don't you just let me take care of this?
Yeah, I suck at it.
Okay, so for everybody on YouTube, we appreciate all of your comments and everything, and that's been a lot of help. Thank you so much. And for the podcasters, always thank you for the download. So we're going to wrap it up this week. This has been Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal, brought to you this week, and of course every week by Amazon. If you're looking to do any online shopping, visit surrealtalkpodcast.com/Amazon to be forwarded to our special Amazon page, where you know what's going to happen when you get there. Any purchases that you make will directly go to support our show. Also, and always, remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, everything on all of our social media accounts, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. It's facebook.com/SurrealTalk, twitter.com/SurrealTalkShow, and youtube.com/SurrealTalkPodcast. You should tune in every Sunday just right around 3 p.m. Central. That's when our live stream starts. And if you'd like to get in contact, you can reach us by email at info@surrealtalkpodcast.com or by messaging us on any of our social media pages. And please remember, November 6th, that's going to be our call-in date. That's the show where we're open.
It's all you
It's
folks.
all you guys. You give us what you want, and we'll talk all about it. So please leave us a review on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever your chosen platform is. While we ask you to be honest in your review, please be nice. And again, I really like funny, so make a joke. But until then,
Also, I want to say thanks, Mark, for coming in today.
yeah,
Hey,
Mark,
glad you
thanks
guys
a lot,
had me,
man.
man. This was
for doing
awesome.
some
He was,
research
he
and
was
shit. I
very
appreciate
informative.
that.
It was- yeah,
I know I'm calling you guys in on that day because I want to talk about Jimmy Hoffa.
There you go.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, thanks for coming in and not being uninformed like I always am. And you did a lot of research. You had a lot of good stuff to offer, and we appreciate that.
Hey, I
so
loved
thank
it,
you very
man.
much.
This was awesome. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. All right, guys, we'll catch you next week.
Yep, thanks a lot, everybody.
See you later.
Have
See
a good
ya.
one.
Bye.
Peace. Wake up.
Okay. I just want to leave a nice spot for Brian to cut.
Oh, yeah. That's for you, Brian. Producer Brian. That's for you.
So the clock here is at 1:58, and I basically started recording and ended the recording right on time on both of them. So we got 2 hours this week.
Oh, yeah, look here at 1:11 right
Say-
here on just this one, and we only had 12 minutes of before. So, yeah, we'll get an hour out of each episode on this week.
Dude, I was hoping I'd have enough information for you guys.
Oh, man, Mark, you did really good.
Thank you.
Say goodbye to YouTube. We're going to return off.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye,
We love you.
YouTube.
All of our regulars, Blizz, Kyle Purvis, you're a new friend, but we still like you. Angel White, JB, everybody, thank you for watching.
Who else we got here? That's pretty much.
We got Blizz, we got Drebin, Blue Arrow. Everybody, thank
I think
you.
it's Dr. Binks, not Drebin.
Dr. Binks. Looks like Drebin to me, bud. If your name's not Drebin, you better tell us it's Dr. Binks because it looks like Drebin to me.
Anyway. All right, catch y'all later.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.